will pop up on the other side of that river out of nowhere, and boom, you're all of a sudden wet. But as my father always said, don't wait for it to rain because you won't get anything done. So here I am. It's been a while since I've been on here and done anything. As you can see, I'm putting a little bit of soybean enhancer out here today. It is Monday, June 26th. Yes, Monday, June 26th. When I say soybean enhancer, it's really weed killer, because once I kill these weeds and the grass, the soybeans are enhanced and they will rise above and really shine. This is a tilled field, so this is only one of 2 fields for soybeans that I tilled, and I'm really quite pleased. They look okay. I should have sprayed last week. As you can see, the grass is as tall as the soybeans, but we got rain last week. Yes, 0.65 inches of rain. So much needed. So since this is a tilled field, I couldn't come out after that rain and do anything here because it would have just made a mess. I could do that on no-till, but no, not on this till ground. So yes, 0.65 inches of rain. Things are looking okay, but we need more. There is a chance today, but I'm taking the chance and I'm coming out here to spray. There's a chance of rain again tomorrow and I believe Wednesday. No wheat has been cut since we last talked because of this weather. I've got a decent stand here for a controlled spill with planting with a drill. I'm pleased with the stand. Now the reason there's some grass in here is because we tilled it up. So I did not spray this before tilling. We just came in here and tilled it up, planted the soybeans. So yeah, when you disturb that ground, the grass and the weeds are they're gonna come up a little bit quicker, but that's okay. I think I can kill this stuff. We have got a chance for some severe storms this evening and tonight. I looked at the radar before I started spraying this. Nothing at all in the radar, but you know, with these types of storms, they can pop up just like that, especially near the river here. They will pop up on the other side of that river out of nowhere, and boom, you're all of a sudden wet. But as my father always said, don't wait for it to rain because you won't get anything done. So here I am, taking that chance. But that's what farmers do. We always take a chance. The welder did get the bush hog blade bracket welded. I have not gone back to that. He was not able, well, he didn't try to shove that shaft out of the hub. So I've been soaking it in PB Blaster. So every day, I've got it sitting at the shop. Every day I'm spraying some PB Blaster in there. So it's been sitting about 3 or 4 days now with the PB Blaster, you know, I hope penetrating down between that hub and that shaft. So I'll put it on my press tomorrow. I've got a small press. I'll see if I can press that shaft out of there. I think I can. I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue now to press that out of there. So once I do that, I'll look at the seals and the bearings. I have not ordered those seals and bearings for that yet, only because I want to pull it all apart, see exactly what I need. And I was just informed this morning by Farmer's Daughter that her truck needs an oil change. So that's now on the list. I've got one of my trucks. Actually, I may have 2 of my trucks that need an oil change. I know the grayish blue, bluish gray truck needs an oil change. The white truck may as well. But I do have, I think, an exhaust leak in that white truck. I noticed it a couple days ago while I was driving. So I've got to pull that in the shop and look at that and see if there is an exhaust leak. It sure sounds like it to me. But the truck is 7 years old and has plowed snow and spread salt from almost day one, so that's expected to have an exhaust leak in there. I'm hoping it's going to be a simple fix, you know, maybe a muffler or a tailpipe or something, and hopefully it's not up on the manifolds, not a manifold gasket, but time will tell. And if you were paying attention to the news last week, you found out that our government pulled the wool over our eyes again, which is no surprise. And I'm talking about that deep sea monster dive of that tin can that went down to look at the Titanic. So you heard, I assume, that the Navy apparently heard that implosion on Sunday, but waited until, was it Wednesday or Thursday, when they sent all of these resources out to the site to dive down and look for this aquatic machine, whatever you want to call it, submarine. Yeah, not until then. And the reason I heard that happened was to take the heat off of the Biden. So the news cycle would focus on this submarine and hoping they would find survivors, which we all knew. At least I didn't think they were going to find any survivors. In this day and age, with all the equipment and technology with computers and communication, if they hadn't heard from that thing, then yeah, that was a tragedy that had happened. So yeah, that's our government doing everything they can to help Joe Biden and his son Hunter. So they won't reveal they heard the implosion of the submarine. So the news will focus on that. Unbelievable. But, you know, the news has still come out about Biden. Now, I don't know how much the mainstream media is putting out there about this and his, Hunter Biden, that is, and the text message that they have discovered with, hey, I'm sitting next to the big guy right now, and you better give me the money or else. You know, good Lord. And the plea deal, that is just bullshit. Here they're trying to indict Trump, and they give Hunter a plea deal. Come on, give me a break. If anybody cannot see that this is all politically motivated, that Joe Biden is using his power in office to take down his political enemies and protect his family. If you can't see that, oh, come on, give me a break. This is just getting so frustrating now that it has come to this, and Joe Biden was supposed to be the uniter, and he's just dividing us more, which we already knew he wasn't going to unite a pile of dog shit on a hamburger bun. It just, wow, I just get so frustrated. I don't watch the news nearly as much as I used to. Once Tucker was taken off of Fox News, I don't think I've turned on Fox News but maybe 3 times for 15 minutes. And I see they have got a permanent replacement for Tucker now. Jesse Waters is going to take over Tucker's 8 p.m. slot, and they're moving that all around. And Gutfeld, they're going to move him down to 10 o'clock. I may actually turn on Gutfeld at 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock is a little bit late. Yeah, I'm usually up until midnight, but I just don't think of turning Gutfeld on at 11 o'clock. So I may watch him a little bit at 10 o'clock. We'll see. So there's still a little bit of moisture here in this ground. The corn that I put the nitrogen on, it's looking a little better, but it's still not where it should be. My neighbor's corn and my cousin's corn that was planted 3 weeks before mine, yeah, at least 3 weeks, maybe a month, it is tasseling, and it almost looks like sweet corn because of the height of it. It's only about 6 feet tall. And it is tasseling. Now this is decent weather for it to tassel out because it's not real hot, and these chance of storms we've got could help with that. But we know that the full potential of that corn is not, it's just not going to be there. Not when it's tasseling out at 6 feet tall. Now, our corn does look better than One Happy Farmer's corn out there in where is it, southwestern Illinois that he is. My gosh, I was watching his video last night. His corn, oh, that is horrible looking. And then reading some of the comments, it's that way across a good part of the Midwest, I guess. So, I feel for those guys, because it's not looking good out there. And then, of course, there's one lonely farmer in New Jersey that he's had a heck of a time as well with his corn and trying to get that out of the ground. And he actually might be okay by getting it in the ground or replanting it, having it late, and maybe catching some later rains and making a decent crop. It sounds like it's just been a challenge all over the United States this spring with getting this corn crop in the ground and getting it up and having it look decent. All right, you see these bare spots? It's definitely not from drowning out. I believe it's too much salt water that has come up from the creek right on the other side of these trees. When we get flood warnings and that tide raises, it actually comes up into this field. And so I think some of these bare spots are just from that salt water coming up out of the creek and laying in here too long. Because once you get up here on the higher spot, then it looks good. But then over here along this edge, the creek is just on the other side of those trees. Yeah, that on high tides or flood warnings, that water comes right up in here and lays. And so yeah, soybeans do not like salt water, but you can see I planted through here, and we haven't had any flooding tides since these beans went in the ground. This is just from last year or over the winter into the spring, where we had some tides that came up and flooded and sat here too long, and just over time that has happened. And it's hard to believe, we're probably 3 feet probably above the water level right now, 3 to 4 feet. So yeah, that tide, it can raise that much when we get the winds from the right direction and the moon shining right, and everybody holding their mouth right. All right, I gotta put down this camera and get back in my spot here. More saltwater incursion right here, because right on the other side is the creek. All right, this is a no-till field of soybeans, and they really do look good. They came up very nicely. Very little weeds and grass in them at the moment, and they're just about ready to canopy everything. So if we get some more rain on these this week, they should really take off and go. Oh man, look at that spot over there. I didn't come to the end of the field enough when I was planting them. Man, that operator needs to be fired, I believe. Okay, I've put some more PB Blaster in there, so I think tomorrow I'll come and put this in the press, and then I think I said in the other video, this bolt here, I'm gonna put that in, screw down on that shaft, and then put this in the press down on this, and that shaft should come out of there. That's the game plan. But one of the reasons this has been difficult for us is this mower, where it sits down in the barn, it has had flooding on it. This barn where I keep my combine is also, the smaller one here, is also where that bush hog sits. And we have had a foot of water in that barn before, and with that bush hog sitting right on the ground, that salt water has come up and covered this part of that, so I'm sure salt water has gotten in there. So it could be a problem, but that's the game plan. I've got some more PB Blaster in there, let it sit some more overnight, and come back to it tomorrow and put it in the press and see what happens. I've always said waterfront property isn't what it's cracked up to be. I mean, you've heard me talk about the saltwater with the bare spots in the soybean fields, the saltwater here, and this bush hog getting into the barn. So yeah, when we get flooding events, when we get any hurricanes or winds blowing in the wrong direction that pushes that water up into the bay and then pushes that tide up, it floods some of this lower ground that we've got. So yeah, waterfront property, not what it's cracked up to be, between the flooding and the erosion problem and then the higher taxes. No, don't wish for waterfront property. Okay, it's time to close up shop here, and I guess that's enough for this video. Not a whole lot to it. I'm just gonna say see ya.